So, have you done anything like this before?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Well, I've Skyped before, but never had it recorded. Welcome to Midnight Mental Talk. I'm Adrienne, and this is my co-host, wherever she is, up there, sideways, there. Go ahead. Leanne.
Leanne, yes. So Adrienne, tell us a little bit about your background in mental health.
My background in mental health is I went to Academy in undergrad in psych, and then when I graduated there, I ended up working in a residential group home where I deal with people with mental and physical disabilities on a daily basis. So, and I just really, really like mental health related topics. And yourself?
I don't know, I guess I bring a journalistic aspect to it. We're going to do some research. I'm going to help Adrienne look deeper into, a variety of mental illnesses and maybe medications and side effects and the horrible pharmaceutical world. I don't know. But we're here to talk about something.
Everybody wants to talk about mental health, but a lot of times people are too scared to talk about it because it's so taboo, even still today. Here it is, 2014, and people are like, oh my god, somebody had bipolar. No, that's just, or they have depression. It's just like, that's a terrible, terrible thing. We're just gonna crack down on like myths and the actual truth of things.
Yeah, we're gonna let it all come out, I guess, on the internet. Because what better place to do that than you do? No, I mean, maybe a good topic to start with would be your basic depression. I mean, that's a big one.
It is a big one because it actually branches out. There's the umbrella of depression, and then it branches down to a whole lot of other things. So you have the depression, then you have like postpartum depression, and then you have these like a whole bunch of other kinds of depression that so it's not just one. It just branches out and keeps going.
No, I heard like there's actually a version of depression that is biological, and so like you can go ahead and change your environment, get around positive people, positive friends, and literally change your life to get away from the negativity. Except with biological depression, I'm told it doesn't change the fact that your body doesn't produce two chemicals, one being serotonin and the other one, I forget off the top of my head. But that's where medications come in, is my understanding.
Yeah, that's definitely true. There's a lot of times people benefit from the medication as opposed to just the therapy, but a lot of times, sometimes that's all they need is the therapy and the counseling, and eventually they'll be weaned off of their medication because they'll be able to develop their coping skills and coping mechanisms in order to live a relatively normal life, whatever your normal is. So.
And I mean, what do you say to people who have tried cognitive behavioral therapy, which is no drugs involved? It's you know what it is, and those who have gone to therapy and maybe seen a psychiatrist and gotten on medication, and they've tried all the necessary things recommended by a doctor, and they're back at square one again. What would you recommend for those people?
Definitely don't give up. It's going to be absolutely frustrating because it's going to be a continuous cycle until you find the right path that is good for you. The cognitive therapy, if there's something that didn't work with you in there, I would definitely suggest going back and seeing what didn't work and maybe try and figure out a different path in cognitive therapy, because I'm a strong believer in that working. A lot of times people don't give it a good chance to work because, well, I'm just saying, a lot of people, depending on this person, doesn't actually give it a good chance. They're over-medicated, and the doctors usually don't suggest that. That's not the first thing they suggest. The first thing they suggest is, oh, here's your medication, and dope up.
Okay, I have gone ahead and before medication, before anything like that, gave cognitive behavioral therapy a try through a psychologist. And it was probably lasted for about 8 weeks. And, she gave me books to read, stuff to read at home, other stuff, a lot of reading. A lot of, like, the book, The Secret. It's a lot like that, almost.
The secrets.
Yes, the secret. No, yeah. So I've
Well, the secrets of being happy and all that stuff, yeah.
yeah, you know,
Never really
think positively, and you know, and you've got a chart that you need to fill out on a daily basis of, you know, your reaction, how you should have reacted, and to identify the types of behavior. There's like 10 different cognitive behaviors. You know, I've been through it, read about it, but quite honestly, unless you have a little pigeon on your shoulder after you're done therapy to remind you about all the things that you've learned, you're gonna backtrack.
Oh, absolutely. Because like it's going to take a lot of time to learn those new behaviors. You can't learn them overnight. They're like it's new habits you have to develop. And the other thing about cognitive therapy, I should actually say, that is usually goes hand in hand with medication. It doesn't always work with just by itself.
Yes.
Because sometimes you will find that people will be doing both in order to help themselves or help the situation, whatever it is that they're going in for. But eventually they will be weaned off, usually are weaned off of their meds.
I mean, my psychiatrist I had for that, she actually said that the cognitive behavioral therapy was supposed to be an alternative to drugs.
Mm.
Is that true?
Yeah, yes, it is, but it isn't, because when I was in university, they had mentioned that it sometimes ends up being paired together, because any therapy usually ends up being paired with meds, and regardless of, they say that it doesn't, but
okay.
You also have to be incredibly willing to accept these. I'm not saying that you didn't, but I'm like saying you have to be completely willing to accept that, oh yeah, those are totally my moods and those are totally my behavior. Just like, oh crap, what do I do to adjust them? But some people will just immediately quit without being like, oh well, whatever, fuck BS, whatever. So I'm just gonna move on and deal with my life.
No, I agree with you. You can, and I totally did, honest to God, try my best. But then, you know, you can get into some circumstances where they're beyond your control, and that's that. So you recommend medication go hand in hand with that therapy. That I could see working a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Personally, if I was a psychologist or even a family doctor that's like sending somebody in the right direction, personally I would send them to the psychologist first for the therapy first, and then that way they can be properly analyzed and figure out what the best route for them is. Because you can't just automatically assume the person's going to do well on meds. You have to check off everything on the list. You have to make sure that it's not one thing. And you have to figure out what the underlying problem is. And if it is that eventually you need meds, then well, that's the unfortunate side effect of mental health. You might eventually need meds.
What would you say regarding what we have discussed today to close out this video?
Something to close out this video, I'd just basically be like, yeah, we just probably rambled, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that are going to look at us and be like, you guys don't know shit. Then that's completely fine, but a lot of times these are going to be our opinion, and they're just going to have to sit down and enjoy the ride and see what comes out.
Click subscribe, like, or comment below, obviously, if you have anything you'd like to see us discuss. So now it's up to the viewers, whoever actually did watch this. If you took part in cognitive behavioral therapy, why don't you tell us how it went for you?
I would definitely love to hear that, see how it went, and see if you actually were successful or if you were unsuccessful. So it would be nice to see.